A £6 million English flop and his £10 million partner in crime. INEOS has had enough, and these two are set to depart Manchester United. Welcome to the United Road Sport. My name is Webb. Here is the transfer talk in the aftermath of that painful loss to Crystal Palace, fam. Crystal Palace, 4 goals to nothing, with two players absolutely like most of the rest doing nothing. Mason Mount having a rare start and showing absolutely just how poor he is, and again proving everyone, but perhaps Eric Ten Hag, that he was not worth the £60 million Man United rushed to pay Chelsea to sign him in the summer transfer window. Now, INEOS are set to make decisions on players. Now, Mason Mount was those players who were causing a bit of debate and confusion. Should we give him time? He has been injured. But the performance against Crystal Palace sold him out. And INEOS are clear. Right now, they are not taking any risks. They do want to get the best players playing for Manchester United. Mason Mount earns about £200,000 per week. INEOS are saying that's not money you can start, you can keep earning to do absolutely nothing. Mount was probably the most invisible player in the game. He was doing absolutely nothing, no impact at all, no fight. He was just showboating and flying around. So INEOS are saying he's one of those who will be looking to sell fast in the summer, and they're already inviting the clubs that might be interested to come and express their interest. I'll tell you without a fear of missing my words that Mason Mount is not even good enough to start at West Ham. He can't start at Tottenham. He can't start at which team? At Everton. He's just that bad. There is a certain poor attitude about him, and again, typical of these English players who are overhyped. Some of them might have the basics in terms of talent, but the overhyping is what causes the problems. Because why on earth would Mason Mount be bought for £60 million and be put on £200,000 per week wages? What was the justification in that move? INEOS must be scratching their heads to try and understand how this mess could have come. Who presided over this mess? How did this happen? And they could have sacked these guys, but it's still painful. The pain is still there until those players completely leave. Mason Mount has got absolutely no chance of staying under INEOS, and already Man United are looking for option. No one, but in any case, he was never a need. No one really knew why on earth Manchester United went for Mason Mount. Eric Ten Hag alone, who came and tried to justify, and of course trying to force us to believe that maybe there is a reason, and I could see it eventually, because if a manager is trusted and he has got this player he's fascinated with, then certainly there is a reason. But we have failed to see it. Even Eric Ten Hag himself, he was extremely disappointed. That game just highlighted how important Bruno Fernandes is. Now we understand why Eric Ten Hag cannot risk playing a game without Bruno, even when he's injured. He will force him to play. I don't think he's doing that again. He must have called him and told him, please, Bruno, for these remaining games, do whatever you can and just be there. Just be there. Even if you're on one leg, you can't run, just be there. This is how poor these players are, and INEOS have got to put things right now. Mason Mount was signed by Eric Ten Hag, and this is his cross to carry, because everyone else was against the signing of Mason Mount, but the boss made it clear. John Mata said it, that the boss said he wanted Mason Mount in the summer, and he went for him. So you cannot blame them on that, because he insisted that this is an important player that he wanted. Leia left on his contract. He couldn't even wait. Imagine, we could have got Mason Mount really if we needed him for free in a month, in just a month from now. But Eric Ten Hag chooses to spend £60 million on him. But I look at it, I'm thinking, with this Manchester United, I think there are some deals, some dirty deals that are played by these managers and these players behind the scenes to make some of that money, to earn a bit of them. Because what is the justification for how much money these people have been wasting on players like Mount, on players like Anthony? Perhaps there are deals behind, there are deals embedded. They are just enjoying this Glazers money, this Man United money, because it's there and somehow no one cares about it. So all guys come in and do what they want. Mount is going, and INEOS have already pulled the plug on him. They're inviting bids. I think they will let him go for anything, between 25 to 30 million pounds or thereabout, because his value has gone down so much. In any case, he was even never worth 60 million pounds even when we signed him. He was never worth that amount of money. But that's where we are. We invited a problem on ourselves, and there you go. Almost stuck with it. INEOS have got to undo the mess. Two, Sofyan Amrabat. Amrabat has failed to click and kick, and it's clear at the end of the sum of his loan spell, he's going to go back to Feyenoord. It has not worked at all. There's no even debate with Amrabat. And you can say anything. Perhaps when he came on, there are people who feel like he tried to do something when he came on in that Crystal Palace game. I thought he was almost close to giving away another goal or two, but luckily he didn't. I feel like it's a pain to watch Amrabat with the ball. His body language, his expression with the ball is not for an elite player. It's not beautiful to see. You don't see a player confident with the ball on his feet. You don't see a player believing in himself and his abilities. I think the Man United level is way above him. That's the issue. The United level is not for him. He's AFCON, he's Morocco, and that shows you the difference between these competitions, because Amrabat has completely failed, and INEOS have had him and had enough of him. They will say, go back to Feyenoord. We paid our close to 10 million pounds, but there's nothing to do about it. It's a loss, count it as a loss, and deal with it. If you look at this Manchester United squad, the players we bought in the past few years, I think United might make a loss of nearly, we might lose nearly 200 million pounds on players, in terms of from players like Harry Maguire, players like Anthony, players like Mason Mount, players like who else? Even Ahmad might be sold. All these players, we might make losses that total to about 100 or 200 million pounds, 150 or 200 million pounds of losses, because certain players might go for £5, £10, some for free. That's how bad some of these players are. That is how bad the rot at Manchester United is, and this is what Sir Jim is trying to clear. So two players have already known their fate. Mount, if an offer comes, he must go, and United is not expecting a lot of money for him. Between 20 and 30 million pounds, he will go. And Eric Ten Hag spoke about depth, but Mount is not in the plans because his mentality, his character, he's not, he's not, he's not hungry. He's not motivated. He has got no determination. He's not has no fight in him. He's just running around and all over the place. There's nothing. You don't understand what he does, what his contribution in the game is. Eric Ten Hag spoke about him being good in transitions. I was trying to force myself to see it. I was hoping really, Loki saying, by the time this elite manager insists on signing a player for 60 million, maybe Bruno has been blocking him. I had hope that we would see something. But his performance against Crystal Palace just sold him out, and I said, enough is enough. Mount needs to leave. And INEOS, good enough, have had. And guys, Mason Mount will be leaving Manchester United. Where he goes will be the question. If we stayed with him, it will be because no one is interested in picking him up. And that is the story of so many other United players. Imagine Amrabat. If hadn't it been that he was loan, he was a player who signed on a permanent. Like Feyenoord were trying to rush us into that decision. You remember trying to corner us, add a clause that you have to buy him permanently, and somehow we were smart and said no, we refuse that option. They wanted to force us. Actually, they wanted to make it mandatory that we need to buy him at the end of his loan. We buy him for 24 million pounds or thereabout. But United somehow said no. They tweaked the clause and said that option is there, but it's not mandatory. Honestly, imagine if we had made it signed the mandatory clause. How bad will it be? Who has been scouting for this team? Is it just completely Eric Ten Hag? Is this the value, the quality he thinks United is? He said he did not get some of the past priority players he wanted. Whose priority was Mason Mount? Where was he in the pecking order? Who told him to sign Mason Mount? To do what? To solve what problem at the time? So you look at all these things and you're thinking the excuses might be there, the players might be bad, but the manager cannot be separated from some of these problems. He cannot. And you're thinking, we're going into another summer. Can we trust him? We're good enough now. He has got people around him to support him. It's not by himself. We will see what is done. But at least what we know for now is that these two flops are done. INEOS has had enough of them, and they will be shipped out in the summer. My name is Webb. This is the United Road Sport. Subscribe. Let me catch you later.